Hey guys, it's Layla from Ignite, and in this video I'm going to take you through another aspect of form in George Orwell's 1984. If you're a student that is studying the HSC, this video is directly linking to the human experience rubric, but if you're someone else who is just studying George Orwell or you have some interest in the formal aspects of his text, this content is still undoubtedly useful for you. In previous videos, I have spoken about the realist aspect of George Orwell. When we look at his form, we can consider multiple aspects of the genre which he mobilizes. While the text is highly realist, we've discussed how there are also speculative aspects to how this text has been constructed. Remember, realism is referring to the reflection of the current state of affairs in Orwell's context. It's his direct critique of the post-World War II era and how totalitarianism, control, the implications of World War II and the wake of the Cold War have manifest in this omnipresent surveillance that he traces in the text. However, while he does look at these elements of realism, the text is also highly speculative. He considers how these realist elements are going to manifest and progress into the future. And that's what I want to think about today. In what ways is the form of Eliot also characterized as speculative, and how can we see the interrelationship of two potentially antithetical ideas, and that is, how does the realism enforce the speculative aspect of the text? Now, when we think about it, in order to speculate about the future, these speculations have to be entrenched in what the current state of affairs is. So what Orwell does is he takes elements of his contemporary world and he hyperbolizes them to project his concerns about the future. And the text is, in a way, a prophecy about the future. The title is 1984. The text was written and published in 1949. It's important to note that the title is not just the numbers 1984, but rather the words 1984. It seems like something mundane to distinguish, but the reason we focus on this is because Orwell's not talking about the precise year 1984, but rather he's thinking about this concept of the future. And if we do not take action in the present about totalitarianism, Cold War, lack of privacy, and invasion of the internal workings of the mind within such omnipresent regimes, if we don't take action against any of these, he's considering how this will manifest into the future. So, having acknowledged what the speculative genre includes, and that is an analysis of how the present now manifests in a hyperbolic sense into the future, let's take a look at some examples from the text. What I'm going to do is show you some quotes which display that speculative aspect of the form. We'll break down a little bit of analysis on these quotes, and then I'll show you an exemplar of how you take form and actually put it into your analysis. So our quote reads, this is regards to the way that the sexual drive is being limited within the text and how this links to the hyperbolic nature and how this actually gives evidence for the speculative form of the text. The natural feeling had been driven out of them. They were all impregnable. The sexual act successfully performed was rebellion. Desire was thought crime. So when we have a look at this notion of natural feeling, of our organic attraction to other people as being controlled in the text, we know that at the time, the elements of control that were, I guess, being reproduced in Orwell's context didn't actually reach this extent. So this is a hyperbolic example of speculative fiction. Orwell is saying is if we are controlled to the extent that we are currently, what's to say that our most intimate introspective desires aren't also going to be controlled? The significance of the sexual act being limited in this text is this. If people can't organically feel for another person, if emotion and sexual desire is removed, then a huge threat that is posed to the modes of power in the text is also put under control. What I mean by this is when we look at the text, desire and love is only directed towards Big Brother. Because if you feel passion towards somebody else, you realize that that bond, that sexual connection, is actually more powerful than the control that Big Brother can exert over you. If we look at the text towards the end, when we see Winston actually transform, he rids himself of his desire for Julia because that relationship is actually a challenge to modes of governance, because he realizes that passion is more powerful than control itself. As part of his punishment when he's placed in room 101 and he is reconfigured to an abiding citizen, there is a symbolic rape of him. There is a quote in the text that reads, "We will fill you with ourselves." The significance of this quote is that there is almost like a sexual control that Big Brother exerts over the individual. You cannot love another person because the only love you can channel is towards modes of power. The sexual drive and the notion of emotional fulfillment found in another person, if you have that connection, it diverts attention away from the controlling mechanisms which the text portrays. The point I'm making here is the speculative genre is taken to such an extreme that sexual impulses are only channeled through to modes of power. People are, in a sense, enjoying or gaining pleasure from abiding to modes of power. Okay, so this speculative aspect of the text form dramatizes totalitarian regimes at the time, and through the removal of the sex instinct, all passion, all love, all devotion, and all loyalty, most importantly, is channeled towards Big Brother. So let me show you how we would put this into analysis. I recognize that it's one thing to look at form and another thing to actually apply it into your body paragraphs. So this is how you would do that. This is an example that I've written up. Take a look at how I've integrated my quotes and how I've linked in aspects of form while also performing textual analysis. While there are certainly realist elements to Orwell's form, the text is highly speculative. So I've said, yes, I recognize it's not only speculative. Let me have some nuance to my analysis. It is speculative, but I also realize there are roots that are in the realist aspects of its form. Orwell dramatizes the current state of control to warn against how the future may progress. So I've started to establish the effect of that aspect of form before going into my textual analysis. This allows for consistency in my paragraph. I slowly build towards my actual analysis. In the text, the sexual act becomes metaphorical for rebellion. It is metaphorical for rebellion because the sexual act shows that you're not being loyal to Big Brother. As desire was thought crime. The speculative construction of repression manifests to such an extent that the ability to feel in the sexual sense symbolizes rebellion. Okay, so what we're saying here through the analysis, we have identified the speculative form as showing how totalitarianism may progress into that concept of 1984 into the future, but we've justified how that aspect of the textual form is very much so also connected to the realist aspect of the text genre. So if you've watched our video on the realism and you compare it to speculative, hopefully now you can see how you would connect multiple aspects of the text form in order to build quite a nuanced analysis of the text. If you found this analysis useful in terms of how to identify aspects of form and put it into your writing, please do like and subscribe to our channel, comment, and I'll reply to those and to try and build your understanding of how to actually do this textual analysis. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the content, subscribe to our channel and we'll have more videos coming your way.
That's right, guys. Thanks for watching. And please make sure you check out our online resource database. We've had a team of state rank achievers and heads of English put these together for you, covering everything from essay structures and examples all the way through to craft of writing and comprehension skills. So check them out at ignitehse.com.au, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.